visit Auschwitz. This is the Secretary General of the Muslim World League. That is a direct result of the impact that Azerbaijan is making today, not only in interreligious and intercultural dialogue, but bringing Muslims and Jews together because we understand our common faith and our common fate. Let me conclude with the following. On Wednesday, back in the United States, a groundbreaking poll survey was announced about how do Americans feel about Muslims in the United States. It was the Jewish community, the vast majority of American Jews, that had the most positive feelings for Muslims more than any other faith community in the United States, and Muslims felt the same way about Jews. Compare that to only 22% of evangelical Christians that expressed any interest in reaching out to Muslims. The Jewish community, the vast majority, were the ones to express these positive feelings, again, the common faith and the common fate. And this session is addressing the significance of multiculturalism policy in its regulation. 4 quick examples. How both the Muslim and the Jewish community are changing policies in the U.S. First, you know that New York City, the largest school system in the United States, over 1 million children, because of the growth of the Muslim community and because of the support of the Jewish community, that today in New York City, 2 Muslim holidays are now given off to all schools in New York. Eid al-Adha and Eid al-Fitr. That's coming from the largest school system in the United States. Do you know that because of the Muslim holidays in the United Nations, now for the first time, just enacted this year, the United Nations no longer meets on Yom Kippur. It is now closed on Yom Kippur. That is a result of the fact that the United Nations is closed for the 2 Muslim holidays. Then we have some challenges. The anti-Muslim immigration bill enacted by the president. Yet, who have been the greatest protectors and defenders against this bill on behalf of Muslims is the Jewish community. And finally, a coalition of Muslim and Jewish leaders have now brought to the United States Congress a bill to combat anti-Semitism and anti-Muslim bigotry. My friends, I began with the festival of Passover, and I will conclude with a message from Passover. If you recall, some of you in the Bible, that according to biblical tradition, that as part of the Exodus from Egypt, God visited 10 plagues upon the ancient Egyptians. The 9th plague was the plague of darkness. And our commentators explain it was a very unusual form of darkness. It was not a darkness that affected the eyes, it was a darkness that affected the heart. That physically they were able to see, but they did not care for one another, they did not feel for each other. And that, my friends, is the most terrible plague of all. And as Muslims and Jews, we must recognize the challenge to keep aglow the light of understanding and caring. I know that next week you will usher in the holy season of Ramadan. Ramadan is not only a time of introspection. Ramadan is not only a time of self-evaluation, self-examination, but Ramadan summons us not only to come closer to God, but to come closer to one another. It is in this spirit, that I wish all of you a Ramadan Mubarak, and I pray that in the spirit of Ramadan, we will see each and every person who who is the child of God just as we are, and who is entitled to be treated with the dignity, the justice, and the compassion that we claim for ourselves. Thank you.